So, social media is one of the most legitimate ways of promoting your work right now. For instance, in 2008, blogs and websites were the only ways to promote your work online. Now, blogs aren't really necessary, and the traffic to websites is not what it used to be compared to 10 or 15 years ago. So, think about how you used to use the internet 10 or 15 years ago. Think about what you did compared to now. Like, how do you interact with others online? I mean, most of the time you're probably using your phone and you're using an app. So, this has really revolutionized the way work is discovered. And there's no longer any gatekeeper. The bloggers don't determine what's good or bad anymore. It's really democratized the way that work is put out and shared. So let's talk about a couple of artists who are what I consider to be masters of social media. And the first person is Ashley Longshore. Her screen name is at Ashley Longshore Art on Instagram. That's her main medium. She's a self-taught artist located in New Orleans, and she uses Instagram to gain direct access to her clients. And she really sees it as a platform for um, direct contact with buyers and sellers. And this has really shaped the art market. So she has over 48,000 followers on Instagram. And if you look at her Instagram, she usually shares studio shots, videos, animated GIFs, shots of works in progress, and random things that inspire her. She also has a more business type Instagram. So this one is mainly for posting all of the fun stuff in her life. The other one's more professional, which we'll discuss more about those two things, whether you should have both a personal and a business one or keep them separate or have them together. Another artist worth checking out is Fran Nerd. Fran is a freelance illustrator. She's located in Hastings, United Kingdom, and she uses Instagram and YouTube to promote her work. A lot of people probably forget about YouTube sometimes, but it's a platform that is really great for exploring video and doing a time lapse of your work, even having live broadcast. It has that ability now. And Fran's built a community around her work based on trust and transparency. Fran's Instagram, the last time I checked, she had over 152,000 followers. And on YouTube, she has over 86,000 subscribers. You can also use YouTube to make money, like as far as like ads and also working with sponsors, which I won't really delve into with this. But if you're curious about that, you can always check online. Fran also uses Instagram to showcase her illustrations, and she uses YouTube to talk about illustration and connect with people on a much more personal level. So a lot of her YouTube videos deal with what it's like to be an illustrator, a freelance illustrator. She also addresses things like copycats, copyright laws, running her own Etsy shop. She has Q&As from time to time. So it's really interesting that she has used both YouTube and Instagram together to promote her work. Another person is Jessica V. Walsh. You may know her from Sagmeister and Walsh. She's a designer and art director located in New York City. Jessica probably has the most followers out of the people that I've chosen as examples. She has over 259,000 followers. And her Instagram's curated to be visually bold. When you go through it, you'll see examples of her work and then also work that inspires her. So I think the last one, that last video is quite interesting. But she always credits the creator of the work that she posts, which is really great because she's supporting other artists. And since she has such a large following, she's able to give them a larger stage. She also posts videos and animated GIFs, and a lot of her stuff's like finished pieces and products like these enamel pins that she's made. And the final person is Kate Bingaman Burt, one of my faves. She's an illustrator and educator based in Portland, Oregon. And Kate was on the internet way back in the day. She had a Flickr and an Etsy, and this kind of allowed her to build a community around her work about objects in our lives. So she was documenting objects like that she had purchased, and she would post them to Flickr, and then later on she took that inspiration and made drawings and then turned it into zines, which are like small publications, independent publications, and she sold those on her Etsy. And she continues to do that. So now she uses Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and she kind of interacts with people and draws their objects as well. So on Instagram, she has over 22,000 followers. On Twitter, she has 10,000 followers. She posts mostly studio shots, videos featuring her work, shots of work in progress, and she also documents her in real life travels and interactions. So what are some lessons that we can learn from these accounts? Well, first, you probably need to narrow it down to which platform you will use the most. As far as artists go, Instagram's probably going to be the best because it allows us to visually explore everything that we make. So we can post our designs, or we can share photographs of our work. Whereas Twitter is a little bit different. It's more textual based and about discussions. Facebook is more a combination of those two. It's everything under the sun. So you've got text and photos, and your grandmother sharing a story. So it's really up to you to narrow it down and figure out which platform you're going to use the most. Another thing is to create custom hashtags. So like Jessica Walsh does a hashtag Jessica Ask Me Anything Mondays, AMAs, and she'll take questions from her followers, and she'll be very candid and open about what she goes through as a designer in New York. And Fran also does one. Hers is hashtag Draw Outside, where she will sometimes she'll even do this with the YouTube videos. She'll take her sketchbook to a museum and she'll sketch through the galleries, and then she'll go back home and record the final pieces of what she did throughout the day. You can also have Q&A sessions on your platforms to encourage interaction, like I was saying, like with Jessica's, and share work that inspires you, and be sure to credit the creators, because it's great to support other creators and to show that you're part of a community, a larger community. Don't be afraid to get silly or show your personality. That's especially the case with Ashley Longshore. She just doesn't care. She'll post anything, but it's also really interesting because it showcases her personality and how she works as an artist. Support those you follow and be sure to interact with them. Don't just follow someone at random just because you thought their work was cool and then never talk to them again. That's the whole point of social media. It's to interact with everyone that you follow. Be sure to document your IRL travels and interactions, your in real life travels. So when you go to conferences, take photos with people and use hashtags and network in real life. Don't forget that that's another component of social media. Remember to also take breaks from social media. And you can always create your own rules. These aren't set in stone. These are just things that I've kind of picked up from these people by observing what they do and how well they do it. So the other thing we're going to talk about is nurturing social media platforms for different purposes. Every social media platform has a different native language, and it's really important to speak the native language of that platform. So for instance, you wouldn't post Facebook content on Instagram. It's kind of impossible to do that. And depending on what industry you're in, the native language can change. So you should use each platform differently. And to use social media well, you have to understand how each platform has a different purpose. So for instance, we were saying like with Twitter, it's more discussion based. You can share images, you can share animated GIFs, you can share whatever you want to usually, but Twitter's very limited to a certain number of characters. So it's more discussion based. Facebook, everything under the sun, anything you can imagine. But also, you have a limited number of people following you on Facebook. I would assume because you would have people from school or family. So Instagram might be the better option. Don't hit share to all. That's always really tempting to do, especially in Instagram. It's great for you to curate your content for each platform and really consider the people who are following you. So think about what you're going to post on Twitter, and also maybe construct something more with a storyline for Facebook. It's really dependent on the audience, the people that are following you. It's also important to post every single day. So if you can't figure out a way to post on certain days, then you can use tools that will figure out when there's the most traffic, and that can help you post on specific days at specific times. You can also hire someone to manage your account. And it's okay to start small. If you're unsure about which platform you want to use, just enter one and make it awesome. Make it all about you. So here's the most important question. Should you separate your personal and business social media accounts? Well, really, there's no wrong or right answer. People will tell you different things. It's really up to you. However, you must use your social media accounts responsibly. Also, if you choose to use your personal account to promote your business, you have to present yourself and your work in the best light. If you don't separate your personal account from your business account, keep in mind what you say online. And we've definitely learned that, especially now with the media, how when someone says something and they can track it down, take a screenshot, and it's there. Everyone can see it. So you really have to keep in mind and hold yourself responsible for what you post. And don't use your business social media account to troll other brands. Just don't do it. So how much should you share online? Again, that's entirely up to you. It's up to you to understand the boundaries of what you will share in terms of your personal life and your work life. Boundaries do make for a healthy life, and it makes for a healthier world too if we make the correct choices and establish boundaries. You don't want to put everything out there, or maybe you do. Maybe you're one of those people that loves sharing your entire life, but some people love to have a little bit of privacy. Everyone has a different set of boundaries. For example, comic book artists, or especially indie artists, they often share autobiographical work. So it's okay for them to be a little more transparent. And just keep in mind, boundaries are always changing. You could want to share something now, but you may change your mind later. It could be 5 years from now. It could be 10 years from now. You really don't know. And you don't have to share everything you create. I think that's a very important thing to remember, because sometimes we make something and we just want the likes and we just want to get the little hearts. And it's not about that. Sometimes it's really about sharing your process, sharing what you created. And sometimes you need to keep a little bit of that to yourself. You have to be able to have a sacred space to create and to experiment. So you don't have to share everything all the time. So just keep that in mind. All right. And now that we've kind of discussed the different platforms, maybe you're interested in creating a editorial calendar, which will help you to organize and post regularly. 4 reasons to use a social media editorial calendar are organization, accountability, efficiency, and effectiveness. So with organization, knowing what you'll say and when you'll say it saves you time so you can get other important things done. You know, you want to be creating. You don't want to have to worry about what you're going to post on Thursday. If you put together a calendar, you're able to say, okay, so this week I'm going to share all of my pencil drawings or something. And next week I'm going to do photography and maybe some mixed media. So planning it out in advance really helps you save time, and it lets you get back to doing what you do best, which is creating artwork and designing. Another thing is accountability. They're great for setting deadlines. If you are a procrastinator like me, deadlines are, it's really easy because they can be flexible or non-existent. So laying out a clear plan kind of eliminates those excuses for not knowing what content to publish on your social media channels. And, success is a product of proper planning. It's a habit built with consistent execution. So it has to have the right tools for the right job. Efficiency, by planning your social media outreach, you make the most of your schedule. So a social media editorial calendar can be anything you use to plan your social media messaging, and it can be a printed template or a calendar app. It keeps things efficient, short, and sweet. Efficiency and effectiveness go hand in hand. Using a calendar allows you to schedule your messages for optimal times, and it also increases the odds they'll get seen. So editorial calendars are great for specific content that needs to be shared. If you have events or special projects, even topics that you want to share, calendars kind of allow you to plan accordingly. And it's very important to keep those calendars open to different content, because something might come up, like an event might come up and you might want to promote it, or maybe the holidays are coming up and you want to push a product. There's a little leeway. You have to kind of give yourself that space to be flexible. So don't see social media just as a distribution channel. See it as a tool. And you need different things in your toolkit. So what you need for your toolkit, you need to develop a strategy and invest intentionally. And planning is really based on seeing patterns in data. So observing how often people post, what things are trending, really paying attention to the data that's out there and that's around you. And scheduling tools like Hootsuite, Meet Edgar, Later app, and Buffer app, all of these kind of use that data that I was mentioning that seeks out patterns, and it helps you to post things at the right times for higher engagement. Also, it's really important that you audit your strategy because it's going to change over time. So sites like True Social Metrics let you dive into that data a little bit further. All right, and I know that was pretty short and sweet. The main thing about Ladies Who Design, it's really about the discussion. This was kind of just offering some very basic stuff, an overview. But if you have questions, feel free to ask them. I'm going to look at my chat real quick and see, yep, Laura's here. And she mentioned that Laura actually works, she does social media for Fuse, and some of Fuse's best clients were met on social media. She actually met her boss on Instagram. So social media is a great tool to network and to also find work. Let's see. I don't know if I have any other questions, really. I'm going to check the chat. Let's look and see real quick. And Heather has a great question. She asked, how do you keep it authentic while still promoting your brand? And that's a very important aspect because you don't want it to seem like you're just coming up with copy that a robot wrote. It's really important to use your own voice and still promote your brand. So keeping it authentic, I guess, is really, you have to make sure you're being transparent and open and honest about the products that you create. And just remember that you're talking to people. There's people out there that are not just little avatars. Social media is just like in real life interacting, you know. It's something that you have to remember. Those were good questions. Heather, do you have any other ones? Any other questions? Dealing with negativity, that's a good one too. Yeah. For me, I know it's always really hard when someone goes after me on social media because I feel like it's a personal attack. And it's like you kind of have to disconnect yourself. I know it's like I said it's basically like in real life interactions, but on the flip side, it's kind of like, well, it's just one opinion. There's 1,000 more people out there that could like my work, or you know, they want to promote me. They want to see me do better as an artist and a designer. I'm trying to think if there was a few tips I found. I was online researching, and Andy J. Miller has a really great podcast called Creative Pep Talk, and he shared some fantastic tips. He had about 9 different tips, but I think the one that I really liked was retweet others as you would like to be retweeted. So treat others how you would want to be treated online, and look out for others even in competition. So really treat people with respect. Another one, let's see, in representing a company's business, a university, dealing with the people who are being hateful, some just delete. I think that is an easy way out. Yeah, I would have to agree. If you're not addressing the issue, then you're just running away from it. You're not being transparent. I know recently the Memphis Flyer had a cover of Donald Trump, and they put on the cover WTF, and a bunch of people got really like annoyed by it, and they were going on social media because that's the thing to do now. You air out your grievances on Facebook, and they were in the comment section, and they were just leaving horrible reviews and giving them like 1 stars. But then everyone that reads the Memphis Flyer, they know that it's an alternative publication. These were just passing people that were getting upset about it. And so everyone that was reading the Memphis Flyer was going back and leaving really great reviews. But I noticed that the Memphis Flyer was dealing with the negativity too. They were addressing the problem. So they would respond to every person who made a negative comment. And they were saying, okay, well, we recognize the issue and we're going to work to correct it. We value your opinion. And to me, that was pretty bold, because they could have just been like, delete, delete, delete. But they didn't. They confronted it. Yeah, it was really classy. I'm trying to think if there's any other amount of stuff. This is just a hang session now. I really don't have anything else planned other than, let's see. I thought there might have been another tip. Yeah, they definitely do. Heather made a great point that Instagram is highly curated. I think it depends on, it depends on the user. So for mine does not. But yeah, like it'll be different because if you're a company or a brand, it'll be, highly curated. Whereas someone like me or you that does like design work, we choose to make ours a personal account. That's our choice. But if we were to flip it over and be more professional, then yeah, I guess we could curate it. I mean, I know I showed some examples earlier, and I can go back real quick. But thinking about people like, let's see if I can, like Jessica Walsh, who has a very highly curated Instagram. It's everything you can imagine. So actually, let's pull up her. I'm going to minimize this so that we can see this in infinity again. But if we look at Jessica Walsh's Instagram, even though she works for Segmeister and Walsh, she's still a representative of their brand, of their business. But she also posts tons of things, like things that inspire her, creepy videos like this one that I was talking about. So weird. But that's what she likes, and it got over 60,000 views. So really, you never know. But compare this to, I don't know, let's look at a more corporate brand like Nike. So Nike, apparently they post a lot of visual, like a lot of videos and products, and they really push their message on this platform. And it differs from, Nike's Twitter is going to be totally different from their Instagram. So, ooh. But yeah, it's very different. You kind of have to decide if you want to merge both your professional and your business accounts. Some people like to keep them separate. It's really just up to you and kind of determine what that is and to set those boundaries. Mix up the cat. Maybe you should just start an Instagram for your cats, like people that have, like Grumpy Cat probably has his own feed. That's what it should be. So then you can just post your cats all the time on their own feed. That would be pretty fun. I think so. Furry 5. Yeah, I don't know exactly. I want to do more stuff on Instagram and YouTube, and it's just one of those things, Laura says, we curate pretty heavily on views. Even our regrams and candidates fit a certain aesthetic. Yeah, could you elaborate a little bit on that? Like, explain how, because you work from the business side, you probably have to really stick and stay on brand, I would assume. Trying to find what else we got here. Don't know if there's. Yeah, that's a good point. So you manage the social media, and there is a large increase in followers when you establish a look. I think that's very important. Yeah, kind of establishing a brand. I know that's a weird word to throw around. We're always like really iffy about it, but yeah, establishing a visual brand and sticking to it. So yeah, I curate a set of 6 to 9 images at a time in a grid. Yeah, I think that's really important to do. Yeah, because I've seen other people really use the grid and turn it into storytelling where you click on one also and it leads to something else. So Instagram has a lot of possibilities there. And I know, with Pinterest, it's really easy to kind of make a mood boards, collage apps as well. Yeah. Instagram's really great. I think I try to, especially with Ladies Who Design, I think I push more on Facebook, but Instagram is also really important. Twitter, I've kind of started doing more with. Um, my personal stuff, I spend more probably on Instagram, and Twitter is more about just throwing stuff out there and making general assessments and connecting and networking. Um, but I think it's really interesting, and I guess also talking about Instagram, how they have kind of taken what Snapchat was doing and reinvented it really with Instagram stories. Yeah, it is. It's much easier to build a community on Instagram. I agree with that. That's a good point, Laura. Because you can actually see what they're doing. It's kind of hard if you're a robot and you're posting just random content and images that have no meaning, then Instagram reveals that right away. Whereas with Twitter, you can be an egg and you can send out, you know, written tweets via a bot, and the same with Facebook. So yeah, Instagram is probably, yeah, it is the most authentic. Definitely, I agree with that. Oh yeah, we should pull it up. I'll do that because that way people can actually see it when they go back and watch. Go here. No, I'm using Google. Fuse branding on, and you can leave the link in the chat if you want to, Laura. I just want to pull it up so that people can actually look at it and see. Yeah, so there's a very clear theme here, and you're really focused on organizing content and thinking about the layout and the visual components. Okay, I'm going to check that out. Let's see. We'll go up here. I'm going to check out the master content creator. That's not right. Did I type that wrong? Hold on. See, this is fun times right here. Oh, here she is. I see her. Maybe, is this right? Dot? Right here. There we go. Found it. Yeah, this is really great. And she creates these, like, takes the photos herself. These are really nice. I love the color and the contrast. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, these are really nice. I love the roller skates. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I content creators, that's really a job that's taken off in the last few years, and I mean, it's there. It's needed because some stuff out there is just really horrible to look at. But yeah, I mean, when you're focused and able to create such beautiful work like this, it really transforms the message and brand. It's like a 180. People, that's true. People do love to look at pretty things. That's I know I do. Especially Instagram is just one of those things where I like to zen out and just look at pretty things. That's what I do. And memes, one of those. That's very true, especially on YouTube. You can definitely go down the rabbit hole. Let's see. Are there any other ones that you think? I'm trying to think of some other people. If there's any other Instagrams that you want to cite, especially as far as like masters of social media that I could add to this broadcast, that'd be pretty cool. Trying to think of some other people that I follow. See, there we go. Is that the right one? I think it is. Oh yeah, that's really lovely. And really also writing is a very important part of that too. Writing and having a specific voice for the brand. This is cute. Woo! It's really adorable. So with the content creators, do they also help write things, or is that something that y'all bring in copywriters to write for specific posts so that you stay true and have a voice when posting? Very I'm very curious about that because someone who doesn't write professionally, it's difficult for me. I don't know if I'm writing in the right voice or the right context, so I don't know if I'm drawing the audience in, if that makes any sense. But I don't. I mean, I could hire somebody, I guess, to write things, but that's I never know exactly where. Okay, so you haven't done. Laura says she hasn't done any copy for social media posts, but both of those clients have part-time help. So okay, yeah, that's very important and it's interesting. That's pretty cool. Let's see if I can find. I was gonna see if there's. We've got another 15 minutes probably, and then I'm gonna wrap up. Um, I'm trying to. I know it sounds like dead air doesn't help. I'm trying to think of some more people. There's just so much good stuff out there. It's hard to find. um, let's see what we got here. Gonna try to look for this is more hmm. So I guess I could go back to Ashley Longshore's work. Ashley Ashley Longshore Art. Hello. Okay, here we go. I really like what Ashley does with her stuff, especially because this is more of a personal account where her professional one is like Ashley Longshore World. So this is what she refers to as her PG account with just her art and paintings and press. And no F-bombs, apparently. So that's kind of interesting. PG. Because her other one is more like an inspiration hub, so just tons of things all that are going on in her life. And let's see, Gemma Carell is also. Yeah, definitely follow her. These are all really the people that I mentioned in the actual presentation are really great at what they do. And Gemma, I mean, this is more okay. So Gemma does illustration, but also kind of like comic style, where she's very open and transparent. So she'll, I mean, humor is really big. I think that's important too. Is sometimes people can get a little too stuffy on social media, and it's nice to see, you know, a little bit of humor and personality. Badly drawn map of Turkey. Fantastic. I love it. Yeah, Tuesday Basson's another good person. And Tuesday just opened up her own shop as well. Friend Mart. So I'm gonna look at Friend Mart real quick. Yeah, really good. And I love that Tuesday shot her own photos of her merchandise that she's created. I think that's really awesome that she was able to have control over that. And everything just looks so amazing, and it really sticks to what she does, which is cool. I'll have to check her out. Let's see. That's right. Oh yeah. Cat obsessed ray of awkwardness. Yes. I'm about this. These are awesome. Yeah. I like this. Yeah, I've been kind of contemplating separating a personal account with more of my design work, and I have a thing parked, but it's kind of like I don't know what to do, so I don't have much up there yet, and there's not many people following me. Um, and I threw this together because I wanted to have something there, and it's not really consistent. It's not, yeah, that's not the only good part. I wanted to turn it into a thing where I could post regularly, so I had started a film project, 52 films by women, and that kind of fell by the wayside. That's why it's important to have a calendar and set goals, because otherwise it just takes a back burner to things. Whereas my personal account is just, it's all over the place. So, but that's, you know, that's me. That's who I am. But I'm thinking about doing that separate account just for artwork. It does. It's a lot. It is a habit. That's exactly what it is. It's about putting habits together. Yeah, Frida. Tons of this is Fran's stuff. I actually order from Fran a lot, and she Heather, you'll love this. She actually sent this because I'm pretty sure she watches Mozart in the Jungle, so she did Haley, which was pretty great. I enjoyed that. Let's see, who else? I'm trying to think. I will always be Haley. Heather, can we look at yours? Are you okay with that? So we can kind of talk about it if you want. Too bad, I'm gonna pull it up anyway. Isn't it? Wait, is it H? I'm not logged in, so it's not pulling it up. Oh, there we go. Duh. Hardcore creep. I hope Tuesday watches this and sees that we're creeping. What? Did I not type that right? What is life? Why is it? Am I? I'm what? Let's do this. Heather M. Ow. No. The cats are the best, though. Come on. Well, see, I guess that's the whole point of the personal account is kind of sharing a look into your life. But you have some really cool stuff on here, like when we made this. I think so. I think you have cool stuff. And I guess also you don't want to start, self-editing too much because then your personality's not there. Kitty. Yeah, there are tons of other things to do, real, real work things. Yeah, I agree. Everyone needs a personal account. Yeah, you're right, Laura, because you just want to post little snippets of your life. For the longest time, I was like, I couldn't imagine having more than one account. And then I'm like, well, already have multiple accounts across many platforms. So really, but I guess the calendar comes in handy because then you can really plan out what you want to post, and then your more personal stuff can be about those little tidbits, those snippets of your life. Yeah. I think you should definitely. Yeah, Laura, you're right, because your clients don't need to see your kid in random hair changes. Your rainbow hair changes. I think you should definitely make one for the cats. That would be fun. And it's also just something where you can let off a little steam and just post fun stuff, like silly things. Trying to think if there's any. Are there any other topics that would be worth talking about? I mean, we only have a few minutes left, but I mean, thanks for hanging out, guys. That's at least there was two people here. That's more than what we have usually. Oh man, it's been fun though. Another. If you build it, they will come. Just love looking at other artists. Ming does a lot of. Ming Doyle does illustration and comic book art, but she also posts different things. But I just people that create really interesting work. It's fun to follow them anyway because they post such great things all the time. Mix it in with cat photos. So cute. Boop. And I didn't even talk about. Oh yeah, Invisible Creature also did a lot of stuff for Target. I'm gonna throw this in real quick while I'm thinking about it, because once you build your audience, this is a great way to get people to kind of help fund you to make things. It's sort of like Kickstarter, but not. But that makes sense. I don't know. If I can log in, but yeah. So Patreon, once you build an audience, so Fran Nerd does this too. She set up a Patreon, and people can contribute however much they want each month, and it helps them not have to worry about covering cost or um, dealing with just those little things, like whether, like, I think her thing was freelance stuff. This kind of helps pay the bills, but it also, this can go straight to buying art supplies and packaging supplies. I know a lot of podcast people do it.
Guys, welcome to my Patreon page.
She's so cute. Yeah, and that's another thing, you get that exclusive content, and that's really cool because, like I was saying earlier, sometimes you don't want to share that kind of stuff because you want to keep it secret, but then you kind of do share it. So with Patreon, it's kind of like an old-fashioned patronage where people can donate and they get to look at different things. Like, she has different levels, so yeah, $5 very secret illustrations, $10 watch her draw, 20 you get a Q&A. I mean, it can go up and you can make some pretty good money, but obviously you have to build your fan base, not fan base, or your audience. I want to say fan base because I'm such a huge fan of her fandom. But I just think it's really awesome that now people are able to do that and kind of take control over what they post and what they share with everyone. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. And I'm going to exit out of that real quick. Infinity screen. Crowdcast is really interesting. I've never used it before, but it's fun. So yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks for hanging out, and feel free to continue the discussion online, of course. You can always use our hashtag and follow us online at Ladies Who Design. Thanks again, guys. And this will be available for replay, so people can listen to us nerd out again whenever they want. All right, and next month we're actually going to be doing a doodle night. I'm still waiting to hear back from the Columbus Arts Council, but if you are in the area in Columbus, Mississippi, and want to hang out and just draw and drink wine and eat, well, maybe we should do another crowdcast so you can. I'll probably have this still. Be in and draw with. But yeah, so that'll be Boozy Doodles. That's good. I like it. So that'll be next month, and hopefully people will join us. So thanks again.